So you mean to tell me it took 8 episodes for Anthony to realize that he loved Kate and for Kate to realize that she ruined her damn sister's life? It took 8 episodes for them to realize that? Hey guys, what's good? No, what's really good? I know, it's been a long time. I haven't seen you guys in a minute, but it's okay. We are back. And today in Mallys World, we will be getting into a lot of things. But in case you didn't know, and this is your first time here, Mallys World is this secret place where we hop in the director's seat, sip on our treats, and get into the real good deeds. And today, obviously by my background, we're going to be getting into all the secrets and scandals and, well, let's just say rumors that wasn't really rumors, but if you watch the show, then you know. So without further ado, we will be getting into season 2 review of Bridgerton. Action. Of course, you know, I love to start off with my actors, but in this case, I kind of just want to get down to the characters, especially the main ones that the season focused around or was centralized around. First, I want to talk about Kate. As an actress, I definitely feel like I loved her. Certain moments I felt like was overacting, or like, I know a lot of my friends and I were basically saying the same damn thing, that Kate is annoying as hell. I know. And personally for me, I'm always the one that sometimes disagrees with the bunch, and I can see both sides. It's the Libra in me. But really, in the beginning, I actually liked Kate. But it was after and further along when she realized that she liked him and she was still pretending not to like him, that's when I got irritated with her. In the beginning, I actually liked her attitude. For some reason, I was getting this like woman empowerment feeling from her. I don't know why. It just felt like she wasn't gonna take Anthony's shit. Like she wasn't here to like be bossed around or fall into the antics of like being in a marriage where you don't love somebody. She wasn't here for all of that. She was not here to do that, and she knew what she came to do. And I feel like that's why I liked her, because she was there to protect her sister, there to find her sister or husband, and she was tasked, she was driven, and she knew what she wanted. So I appreciate her for that. But as the storyline went along, I just kind of didn't really like her. Yeah, I didn't care for her at all. Now Anthony, Jonathan Bailey. Jonathan Bailey. Jonathan. If you're single, I need you to marry me. But that aside, I feel like you did a wonderful job in conveying Anthony's character. I genuinely felt irritated, annoyed, and pitiful for him, because I could see that he had this roller coaster or this hamster on a wheel going in his mind, that this is the only way out of this problem and this is the only way out of this solution. So I could see that in his eyes he was driven to do that, and as an actor to portray that storyline while still giving me, it was the breath. It's the breath. He knows how to breathe through his words. So Jonathan Bailey, yes, thank you for that. The breaths that you take in between your words are very sensualizing. They make me want to do things. And aside from Anthony's character, Jonathan Bailey, like I said, I just need you to marry me if you see this. But Anthony's character, Loki, gives me, if you've seen the originals, it gives me Elijah Michelson, but like the smart sense version. And I'm not trying to diss anybody or diss the writing, but like really, Elijah was like the big brother that took care of everybody. The only difference between Jonathan Bailey and not Jonathan Bailey, but the only difference between Anthony Bridgerton and fucking Elijah Michelson was that they're not vampires. And then we have Edwina. Edwina is definitely polite, loving, love the actress. I feel like she played that naive character well. I have to shout out Lady Bridgerton, the actress that played the mother, because that crying scene and the scene where she was giving birth to the child, I think that child was Hyacinth. I think it was the last child. But that scene when she was giving birth to Hyacinth, yeah, that tore my heart up. So congratulations to her for being able to make it through that scene and being able to actually act through that, because yeah, she did that. Penelope, Eloise, yeah, those were some great actresses as well too. I'm not even gonna lie. It was nice to see Penelope in a different light, and it was nice to see Eloise in a different light, because we always see Eloise as this strong, like, adventurous character from the last season, but now we see her falling in love, being naive, like, weird, quirky, overthinking things, sneaking out. Like, this is not what Eloise is used to. So to see her in a different light and actually genuinely connect with her and feel that, I feel like the actress did a great job there as well. But honestly, truly, I just really want to get into the good deeds. So congratulations to all my actors that made it through this season. I hope you guys do continue to make it on to the next season. But moving on in Mallys World, we love to get to the plot and get down to the deeds and the goodness of this all, right? Now, if you have not seen season 2 of Bridgerton, I feel like my descriptions of the characters did not spoil anything for you. If I did, then I apologize, but here are the real spoilers. So if you have not watched, please go watch now. Anyways, getting into the deets. So you mean to tell me it took 8 episodes for Anthony to realize that he loved Kate, and for Kate to realize that she ruined her damn sister's life? It took 8 episodes for them to realize that? Please. Come on now. They drew that out. I'm so sorry. They drew it out. But I'm not going to kill them or curse directors for drawing it out. Because, here's why. I feel like because the relationship was drawn out and because we know it was sort of like inevitable, but not really, we really didn't know what was going to happen. Well, some people that read the books, because I think these are based off of books, knew what was going to happen already. But that also brings me to my other point. Like I was saying, it was drawn out because I feel like we as audience members were given an opportunity to pay more attention to the other characters within the show itself. Because in season 1, yes, we have Lady Whistledown, we had Eloise's character, we had the other brother going off to war, we had the Featheringtons and their lives. I feel like everyone plays a piece in this puzzle, and the pieces of the puzzle are slowly coming together. I have not read the books, but in my mind, what I do feel is that each season, correct me if I'm wrong, this is my theory, this is what I'm predicting, that each season, one of the Bridgertons will fall in love. And they will find their happy ending. And the reason why I say this is because now in season 2, we get to the root of Anthony's problem, or the root of why he can't fall in love, or the root of his emotional problems. And I feel like it goes back to, again, the title of the show, Bridgerton. And I say this because, just follow along with me. We're going to circle all the way back, I promise. I feel like it leads back to the title of the show, Bridgerton, because we get to see Anthony's father. He dies, and he dies by a bee sting. Something so simple, but I feel like it was an allergic reaction combined with the bee sting. But something so simple, like Anthony said, killed or humbled such a strong man. So for Anthony to see that and then be having to take on that responsibility immediately and have all this pressure on his back, you can see that that pressure and carrying all that weight is what affected his idea of love, because he looked and he told his mom, if I'm going to be responsible one day for the grief that I caused you, I'm not going to marry somebody that I love. And that to me was mind-blowing. Because I could see why it made so much sense in that society. I'm going to marry a wife that I can provide for. Like, that was what his job was in the beginning. Remember? In season 1, he was supposed to marry someone that he can provide for, or that he wants to provide for. But instead, he was providing for someone that he loved, which was the singer lady on the side. But here we have now where he has come to this realization, or he's always had this realization in his mind, that the person that he marries is simply somebody that he has to provide for and not somebody that he can love. Because if he falls in love with someone, then he is now in control of the amount of pain they're going to feel when he dies. And I always say that my definition of love is giving someone the power to hurt you but trusting them not to. So Anthony is kind of like on that track with me, where it's like, if I fall in love with Kate, or I genuinely love these people, they are giving me that power. And they're trusting me with it, not to die, not to hurt them, not to break them. But eventually one day I will die. Eventually one day I will have to give up this title. Eventually one day I cannot provide. Or maybe they will not be able to provide for me in the same ways. And maybe they will die. And I'll have to experience that grief. He was running from the grief that he saw his mother experience. And I feel like, back to the Bridgerton name, Lady Bridgerton and Father Bridgerton, for instance, if you want to call him, because I kind of forgot his name, they set the example for all of their children and how they are now dealing with love and society combating against it. Because we have Daphne, so naive, didn't know a damn thing about love. Didn't know what sex was in the first season, simply because her mother was caught up in all this grief of her father that she forgot not to raise her kids, but to teach them the love that she experienced with her father. She told them about it. She probably had stories about it, but she didn't teach them or give them enough knowledge about what it is that she experienced with her husband. So they went out into the world with their own concepts or what they interpreted from it. Like Eloise, she probably doesn't want a damn man. Why? Because she probably sees the same thing Anthony sees. Damn, my mother was broken. Damn, my mother was hurt. And at the end of the damn day, she couldn't do anything unless my father said he could do it. And now my father is dead. She can't do anything unless my brother says it. So therefore, in mind, I will not be sad, lonely, and then still be in control or under the control of a man. No. Eloise said, no, I'm not doing that. I'm going to be independent. I'm going to learn something. I'm going to make something of myself and not let it come from a man, or not let it depend on a man. Because at the end of the day, if I do happen to fall in love, the only thing that man should have power over me with is my feelings. Then we have Benedict, who wants to go off into this like art journey and experience things, but he has to be that second brother. He has to fall into that role in case Anthony doesn't. It's kind of like everyone is trying to live up to the Bridgerton name or what their father and mother had, instead of actually being who they are. And I feel like that's why the show itself is still named Bridgerton, because it could have been named freaking Lady Whistledown. Because a lot of people are, like they said, or like me and my friends also talked about, I feel like more this season I was more interested in the Eloise, Penelope, Lady Featherington plot instead of what was actually happening between Anthony and Kate, because it was getting to a point of annoyance for me. No shade, I'm not criticizing the writers. It was just like overbearing, like, okay, we get it, you're in love, get to the point. So for me, I just feel like it gave me more time to pay attention to other storylines and point out other things that may have been important. And I feel like that Bridgerton scenario where we got to see the father and see how it impacted Anthony, like, obviously that death affected everybody in their own ways. And I feel like moving forward now in the series, we have knowledge of this, and we have knowledge of how that grief may have trickled into everyone else's perception or idea of love. So now that they're growing up in this society where you have to marry someone eligible, or you have to marry someone of honor or truth and valor, it's kind of like, but what about what mom and dad had? And do I actually want what mom and dad had? Because it eventually led to the worst heartbreak ever. But like Lady Bridgerton explained to them, it's like it could have led to the worst heartbreak ever. She would do it again 1,000 times because that's what true love is. And sometimes you don't find that in the society that they're in, because like you have to marry. You have to marry a person if you're caught with them, or you have to marry into money because your family's broke. Like certain things happen, and she was just fortunate enough to marry into money, or marry the man that she loved but still have money and still have that relationship. And Daphne was lucky enough for that. And now Anthony himself, he may not have married somebody that had money or that is going to get money, but he married the person that he loves. And I feel like that's the general idea of this show. It's finding love and navigating through society's hardships, or what they think you should do, or who they think you should love, and then following your own heart to finally grab a hold of who it is that you know that you love and you deserve to love. And speaking about knowing that you love and deserving to love, Miss Eloise. No shade, no tea. Penelope didn't have to do what she did to Miss Eloise. She didn't. But what's done is done. At the end of the day, if it was me, I probably would have told Eloise that I was Lady Whistledown. I ain't even gonna lie. I wouldn't ruin my friend like that. I wouldn't. But being in Penelope's situation, with Penelope having to admit that she was Lady Whistledown, it was too hard on her. She was a coward. Yes, I agree with Eloise on that. Penelope was a coward in admitting, because if she admitted that she risked the fact of Lady Thompson knowing. She risked the fact of Colin hating her, which I feel like she's still gonna tell the truth, and Colin's still gonna fucking fall for her. Because I feel like Colin's playing her, but he's not playing her. I feel like he sees her, but it's gonna take a minute for them to realize that they see each other. But I feel like Eloise is a strong girl. Eloise knows how to maneuver and work through these situations. So when Penelope didn't tell Eloise that she was Lady Whistledown, I was kind of upset, because she should have trusted that Eloise was smart enough to figure it out. She should have trusted that her friend and her could make it through the situation together, but she didn't. And that kind of like let me down. But at the same time, I'm a freaking Libra, and I know that's no excuse for me picking both sides, but I can see how Penelope felt that pressure. And I can also see how Eloise felt that betrayal. And speaking about betrayal, Eloise and the little boy from the print shop, Penelope was right. He had to go, and she had to go from him, because this is a different society. This is a different time. Like, being seen or caught with rebels in that time period, excuse me, Eloise, that's like jail. You've ruined your family if you're caught with rebels that are like conspiring against the queen. So for Lady Whistledown, Penelope, to write about that, I'm like, damn, why would you do that to your friend? They could have like find something else to write about, but it had to be something so harsh that even the queen wouldn't believe that it was Eloise. So in return, she ruined her life, but she saved her. But at the same time, I don't see why Eloise was mad, because Eloise didn't want to be courted. She didn't want to go out and like go to balls and go to dances. So for me, for her to be ruined in society, it shouldn't even matter, because you like the boy from the damn shop and he's a rebel. He's unfortunately a nobody in the society. So for you to be exposed, I get how it ruins your family and ruins the name, but why are you so mad? You have an out now. Go be with him. Go be with your print shop boy and your rebels. You have an out now. I don't see why she was that mad, but she was. And I get why she was mad, but come on. Just take your out and go. Honestly, truly. And I want to believe that Colin genuinely loves Penelope, but that's just something we'll have to look forward to and see. We had the rest of the Featherington family that went through their whole tobacco with the cousin that came to visit and all that weirdness. And I have to shout out Lady Featherington as well. And here's why I'll shout her out. Yes, she played her tricks and yes, she schemed. But at the end of the day, that woman, despite how she treats them throughout the season or in each episode, she loves her daughters. And she's never gonna let anything happen to any of them. And I recognize that now throughout this season. Yes, she may say harsh things. Yes, she may do harsh things, but she's doing all of that to protect her babies, and she's never going to let go of them or lose them. So shout out to her for that. Shout out to Lady Danbury. Shout out to the queen and snorting her crack or cocaine or whatever that powdery substance is, because it was getting to a point. Honestly, truly, and the fact that it wasn't laid out, it was in a little scooper. Yeah, the queen on some serious things that she needs to address. And she also needs to take care of her damn husband, the king, that's going insane. He done lost his damn mind. Honestly, truly. We know that Colin is going to start doing his own investments so that he can make a name for the Bridgerton family. I think Benedict, I remember seeing him packing his bags towards the end. I'm not sure if he's going to go back to the art school or leave altogether. Daphne's little baby with the Duke is like growing. He's cute. We didn't see him come back. I guess they just didn't cast him, but he was like there still or doing Duke jog, whatever the Duke fucking does. The Duke does whatever the Duke does. Okay. We have Madame de la Croix, who we still don't know where the hell she's from or why her accent's fake, because that was left as a question in season 1. I still want to know who she is and why her accent is fake. Yeah, I haven't forgotten. Also, I just want to also say that I genuinely appreciate these 3 moments. One moment where it was the wedding, and she rips off the bangles and she runs into the closet and she's like crouched down and she's crying. She's crouched down and she's crying, but the camera is overhead. But if you look in the very far right of the screen, we see that there's a circle mirror reflecting her on the floor. And I feel like that shot was perfectly set up, that we could see her overhead crying, but we can also see her from the side in the reflection of the mirror. I don't even know if people noticed that, but I noticed it. I noticed things like that. So keep giving us moments like that. Keep giving us those subtle but intricate camera angles and moments. I really do genuinely appreciate things like that. I also want to shout out the soundtrack. Was so freaking good. I think one of my favorite renditions, 2 of my favorite renditions, was Dancing on My Own and What About Us. If I'm sure those were the 2 ones in there. Well, there was plenty more, but those were the 2 that I remember that I genuinely enjoyed in the moment. Because I think What About Us or Dancing on My Own, I can't remember which one it was, but that's when Kate and Anthony were dancing together and like the whole room stopped and the queen was like, yeah, don't you think they look good together? That to me made me feel good, because now they have an out and now society will talk, but they wouldn't talk as much because the queen approves the relationship. And once before, some people had questions about what happened to the prince from the first season. Now we know the prince is probably going to marry Edwina because the queen mentioned it in the end. Also, another thing I would like to point out, right? I have been recently rewatching Scandal. We'll see on in a later YouTube video. But my point is, I've been recently watching Scandal over. And the moment I saw it, I knew where I recognized it from. The part where Kate and Anthony were outside right before they had sex, right? He was like, go back inside. And Kate was like standing there and she didn't say anything. It reminded me, he was like, go back inside. You don't belong out here. Go back inside. And she like disobeyed and started to take off her clothes or whatever. And Anthony continued and he was like, yeah, go back inside. I'm a gentleman, go back inside. It reminded me of Fitz and Olivia when Fitz and Olivia first had sex on the campaign trail. They were standing outside of Olivia's room in the hotel room, and I remember this because I just saw the episode a couple hours ago. But they were standing outside in the hotel room, and Fitz was like, go to your room. Go to your room. And she just stood there, and she didn't. She went to her room. I think she went to her room, or she didn't go, or she... Whatever happened, he was basically saying, yeah, go in your room. That's what he was saying. He was telling her to go in her room because she was standing in front of her door. And she didn't go into her room. She instead went into Fitz's room. And as she went into Fitz's room, they proceeded to have sex, which reminded me of the same energy, the same breath that Kate and Anthony had right before they had sex for the first time. Shonda, I see you. I don't know if you guys genuinely liked this season of Bridgerton, but I am quite frankly on the fence. And the reason why I am on the fence is because, like I said, it did take a little long and drawn out for Kate and Anthony to be something. But, like I said, I genuinely appreciate the information that we gained about Lady Bridgerton, Eloise, Anthony, Benedict, Colin, Hyacinth, Gregory. I don't know who else I'm missing. But knowing each and every one of those children and how they were affected by the original Viscount's death, Mr. Bridgerton, or whatever you want to call him. Knowing how they're grieving in all their separate ways, I'm actually interested and excited to see what's going to happen. And I think, like I said, this is based off of books, and I haven't Googled it, which I want to Google it, but I also don't want to spoil a surprise because I started watching the show, so I want to finish watching it instead of reading ahead. But from what I'm seeing, or what I think is going to happen, I think each season, one of the children are going to fall in love. And I don't think it's going to be in order because Daphne came first, then Anthony. So it was like D-A. And yeah. Hopefully Benedict's next. If he's not next, then I'm rooting for Eloise to be next to fall in love. Hopefully. Because I feel like Benedict is becoming like a lost soul. And he's probably going to go off and find himself. But he also isn't a lost soul because he's been that moral compass for Anthony throughout the season. And so has his mother. I really want to like love their mother as well, because yes, she's going along with what society has taught her and following the rules, but she's also ensuring that her children marry someone that they love. And it gives me very much Pride and Prejudice vibes, but in a more enrichful way, in a more understanding way. So if you guys disagree or agree or want to chat some more about the TTT in Bridgerton 1010, then you know what to do. Scroll down, hit the subscribe button, then hit the notification bell so you get updates and notifications for when I post, because I will be posting more. But this is all the tea that I have for now about Bridgerton, unless I find something else to talk about. But if you guys have anything to talk about, feel free to drop it in the comments below. But like I said, this is all that I have for now. Until next time, mwah.